All right, it's exactly some 33 minutes after 6. Time now for us to check out what the newspapers are reporting this Tuesday morning. So we're at myjoyonline.com, and this is what we're picking. This is inside the Daily Graphic newspaper today. Bishop Bonigas in trouble. Police investigate him for unlawful use of cop. So we're told that the police are investigating the conduct of Bishop Daniel Kwame Kisi Bonigas, the founder and overseer of the Great Fire Pentecostal International Ministry, for allegedly engaging a policeman for guard duties without authority. You know, normally if you need police protection, you have to go through the police service itself for them to assign. But apparently he's been engaging the services of some police officers, not the legal way. And so police are still investigating. Another headline that give litigants fair day in court, President tells judges. So President John Mahama has called on the Supreme Court to instill confidence in litigants so that parties to a case would be assured of a fair day in court. He said these when he was swearing in 2 more Supreme Court judges yesterday at the Flagstaff House. GMA extends strike deadline to July 29. We brought you details of that story in our AM News. A lot of people excited that they are not striking after today, because that was the initial deadline they had given. But don't be too excited. Don't start celebrating yet, because they still do not have their conditions of service. They're going through those processes now until they sign, and that comes into full effect. We cannot be celebrating yet. But here's another headline: Kofi Jamaat petition AG. This is a very trending issue captured in the Daily Graphic newspaper today. The former member of parliament for the ACCRA constituency, Maxwell Kofi Jamaat, and his campaign operations director, Riches Oscar, have petitioned the Attorney General over their prosecution. They were supposed to have their day in courts, but this came probably as a surprise to the prosecution. So we'll see what the AG says, and we'll see how this case moves on. But let's check out what the Daily Guide is reporting today. Some of the major headlines in today's Daily Guide newspaper: blame AG judge for Wyoming scandal, and that's contained in the leak report that the Daily Guide has laid hands on. The credibility of former Attorney General Betty Molidriso, along with that of Justice Amandu Tanko, the trial judge who caused the payment of a whopping 51.2 million cedis judgment debt to NDC bank ruler Alfred Agbeshi Wyoming, has been brought to question. For a lot more of that, you can go into the Daily Guide. Also, confusion hits EC boss. So some issues are coming out of the appointment of Charlotte Kirsten Smith-Osei as chairperson of the Electoral Commission, among which is the accusation that President John Mahama is setting bad precedents. So a lot of people are making the argument that perhaps she should have resigned as NCCE boss first before that appointment by the president as the EC boss, because as you may well know, as NCCE boss, you cannot be sacked. I mean, you have to finish serving your term, or you have to decide to leave yourself until you get to that retirement age. It's more like what exactly happens at the Electoral Commission as well. Some people say that she should have resigned on her own before that presidential appointment as EC boss. That conversation is ongoing. Don't know how it's going to end. Okay, government chops $1.3 billion. That's according to Dr. Muhammad Baomi, a running mate of the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, has accused the National Democratic Congress of stealing some $1.3 billion. You can go on and read a lot more details in the Daily Guide newspaper. Up next is the Finder. What's the Finder reporting today? Corporate failures imminent. So deep throat sources in the finance and banking sectors have warned of imminent massive corporate failures as banks in the country are reluctant to work with business to restructure debts. If you owe any bank, this is a very difficult time to repay, because you know that the repayments would go up often, and if you are on that same salary with the city depreciating the way it is, it will have a very heavy toll on you. And this story essentially says that the banks are not willing to do anything about it. And so particularly businesses would suffer a lot, especially those who owe some of these banks. 15% hike in fuel prices tomorrow. This was rumored, but is it coming into effect tomorrow, 1st of July? Will somebody step in? The prices of petroleum products will go up by between 10% and 15% tomorrow, influenced by a continuous fall of the cedi, fuel deregulation, and 17.5% special petroleum tax. There have been talks if the NPA is going to step in, if somebody is going to absorb this increment. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully you won't wake up on a holiday morning to the announcement that there's been some increment in fuel prices. Results of IMF review out today. Ghana is likely to clear the first review of its $918 million program with the International Monetary Fund and secure a fresh disbursement of funds aimed at stabilizing its economy. Sources close to the deal disclosed to the today to this newspaper. That's the Finder. Acute water shortage hits Tamale. So an acute water shortage has hit the Tamale metropolis of the northern region for the past 2 weeks. The situation is impacting residents negatively because in the month of Ramadan, Muslims need water most. Can somebody fix this problem? We've been talking about it for a while now. Can we just fix it for the sake of Ramadan so that we can move on peacefully? Let's check out the Today newspaper. Youth run riots as they vandalize Salaga VRA office. So an angry mob in Salaga in the Gonja East districts in the northern region yesterday attacked the offices of the VRA and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company in protest against ongoing power outages in the community. I don't want us to forget about the fact that we're in Dumso, but please, can we communicate and not damage properties, because in the end, we own VRA. When we destroy, we will have to use money to rebuild whatever it is that we destroy. So let's talk about the issues, but let's not destroy. Police react to fuel shortage. The Ghana Police Service has denied a story published by Today that the service has been hit by fuel shortage. That story was in their paper yesterday. The BNFT, nuclear energy gets legal backing. Also, IMF review verdicts in Tekpe must do more. The paper says cedi volatility dampens hopes of businesses. That story elsewhere also in the Today newspaper. Graphic business. Bank of Ghana turns to foreigners to save cedi. So the Bank of Ghana is baiting offshore investors into the country's short-term debt market in a renewed bid to boost liquidity on the money market and show up the cedi. Okay, so these are some of the headlines as captured by myjoyonline.com. The very last newspaper that I would do, the Finder Sports. ACCRA didn't snub APIA. A lot of people have been talking about this because almost everybody was there with APIA at the dinner on Friday and also the testimonial game on Saturday, but we didn't see ACCRA. I mean, Eto was there, but ACCRA wasn't. But then again, those who are saying ACCRA wasn't there because he was snubbing APIA, Drogba wasn't there either. Okay, but you can check out a lot more details in the newspapers, and Kwame Jamaat, he's coming up with a lot more sports. Please do stay with us here on the AM show.